You are now listening to the world's most controversial podcast. Hello and welcome to the Doomsy McDoomscroller Show, philosophical science fiction series that features realistic futurology and refreshingly heretical commentary on the news. I play the fictional host, Doomsy, and sometimes the show's writers have me referring to myself in the third person or breaking the fourth wall. With regards to the second person possessive pronoun, it's plural in the show, like really plural. You equals you all. And by you all, I don't mean just you listeners. What I mean by y'all is all 8 billion of you farmers / warmongers. So, for example, when Doomsy says your culture is the worst ever, that refers to civilized culture. With a capital C, civilized. All y'alls. All right? East and West. There ain't no difference in the big picture. So, I do some scrolling while trying to find my way back to Earth, because at the moment I'm light years away. Light decades, most likely. I'm in some other galaxy right now. If you're getting the video feed of this broadcast, you can see that I'm cruising above the rings of a planet at the moment. And I don't know. This is, we use the multiverse plot device. And Doomsy's dilemma, really, and this is why we're dealing with a lot of futurology here, is, it could take decades for me to get back to Earth. And I got a lot of distance to travel, but I can cover that distance in a variety of universes. I want to get to one, I want to be in one that's as close to the original one that I left, or maybe even the original one that I left. The original universe I left. I don't know. I want to be in a universe where Earth has people on it in the 22nd, 23rd century. Because that'd be great. I'm a people. I'm a person. And, by the time I get back to Earth, I don't know. Sometimes I do some FTL travel, faster than light. And I think I don't age. It depends on how I travel. But anyway, so, this dilemma, I'm scrolling. If you do any kind of scrolling, some of it's going to be doom scrolling, right? At least in most every universe. I mean, Earth is struggling right now. You civilized folks are making things pretty tough for everybody, everything. And so, the dilemma is like, do I want to jump? I think it might be easier for me to jump to another parallel universe, maybe try to get back to another Earth, an Earth with a better chance, maybe a better future. I don't know. Sometimes this hyperspatial quantum entanglement engine, sometimes it flings me forward and backward in time. But there's this temporal elasticity factor that flings me back. And so I get glimpses of the past, of the future, and I know that there is an Earth. There's a universe with an Earth that has people on it, has large mammals. And I also know that there's a lot of universes where most of the ocean life has disappeared. Large mammals are gone. Certainly no people, which is kind of amazing, really, because humans, you got the most adaptable digestive system. We're able to eat almost anything. So, but I mean, that's how bad civilized culture is ruining things. So, realistic futurology. It's realistic futurology on this show because there's no time for robot apocalypse. Sorry, there's just AI. You don't got enough time to have that become a problem. Okay, right now you all got to deal with more plastic than fish in the ocean, because that's where you're headed. That's where you're headed. And I guess I say your culture because I'm not part of it anymore. I've been away from Earth for so long that I no longer consider myself one of you farmers / warmongers. I haven't been doing any pyramid building in a long time. And it's nice. I mean, I miss my friends and family on Earth, certainly. I don't miss building pyramids. I'm not from ancient Egypt. I'm just saying. I'm from modern, 21st century was when I went on this recon mission for my friends. Got lost out here in some other galaxy. I don't know. Should I jump to another universe? So look at this. I was scrolling here. Let's see. Let's check this out. This article here. This is, I think, from yesterday. And now this is a podcast. At least my friends say they're getting what I'm broadcasting, and they're posting it on Spotify after it automatically winds up on YouTube or whatever. But there is a visual element to this sci-fi show, I suppose. It's a podcast, so you don't need video. I will describe the photos in the article. I will read the article. This headline, this is off Yahoo News, but it's from The Hill. Headline is, Proud Boy claims Trump won after sobbing for mercy and receiving 10-year sentence. Colin reports. By Julia Shapiro. This is Friday. And there's a picture in here. You can see that that one rioter with God, what was his name? I forget. He was all upset because he was in jail without his organic recipes or something. Oh, the shaman. Oh, what an insult to shamans all over the world. And he was the QAnon something or other. Anyway, the caption to the photo. It looks like a photo. They're inside the Capitol. in this photo. The caption, Proud Boy claims Trump won after sobbing for mercy. Sobbing for mercy. Doesn't really sound all that proud. Proud Boy Dominic Pizzola. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. The article says he sobbed in a Washington, D.C. courtroom Friday as he asked a federal judge for leniency in his January 6th sentence and vowed to stay out of politics in the future. Stay out of politics. So, rioting on the Capitol steps, I suppose that's what it counts. That's what counts as politics now. So, Trump won, he shouted as he raised his fist, leaving the courtroom. Okay, so that's the article. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but come on, what are we talking about? So this guy, this guy's going to jail for 10 years. Now, okay, he's, I don't know, call him a moron, call him a violent jerk, an a-hole. I don't know. Is he a monster? How many people did he physically hurt before rioting on the Capitol steps? You know, I don't know. Yeah. So, but if you listen to Doomsy shows before, any other episodes, and you know I'm not a fan of putting people in cages. But basically, though, I mean, in civilized culture F's people up so badly. So badly. Well, you know, what do you do with them? It's not rehabilitation. I guess locking them up in a cage is, I guess, protects other people in society. But this guy, and this whole incident here, the whole rioting thing, that is, that's a product of civilized culture. You know, that's civilization. You guys got to own that. That's your culture doing those things. The atrocities Russia is perpetrating in Ukraine, that is a product of civilized culture. I mean, if you look at the history, if you go 10,000 years, it is civilized. Now, the world wars, you guys have wars so huge, you name them after the world. That's civilized culture. Yours is the culture of maximum conflict. Maximum conflict. Maximum violence. That's your culture. You guys are doing that. Trump won. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. This whole Trump cult thing. That guy doesn't give a rat's ass about anybody but himself. And yet he's got just millions of rubes that he fleeces. Constantly fleecing the rubes. You know, they think it's okay. How is he doing anything? The guy was the worst president, like, ever. We can only be lucky that he combined maximum corruption with maximum incompetence. Because if he had, like, real political agendas, the world could be in a lot, your culture could be in a lot worse shape. Putting the world in a lot worse shape. Wow, I don't know if you're seeing, I'm on this planet right now, and there's like this giant eyeball. It's this creature, it's almost entirely an eyeball rolling around on the grass. I'm checking it out while I'm complaining about your earth that you think is yours. Right? It's your earth, your forests, is what you claim. Save our earth. It's not yours. It's not. 10,000 years of thinking it's yours. That's what has got you into this mess. And you have people like Trump. You don't even realize, the Trump lovers don't even realize he's tyrannical king. He's just so crippled by his own narcissism that he's just, I suppose there's politicians more dangerous than him that could be in the White House, I suppose. But he's the one within reach, right? Why does these people went to jail for a guy who basically he kissed ass while he was president to the worst people, to despots, to Kim Jong-un, to Xi Jinping, to Putin. Loves Putin, always praising Putin. Trump was. So he did that. He and then he was either playing golf on his own golf courses so he could grift as much as he could, charging Secret Service like triple for the golf carts that they had to drive, following him around. So he was either playing golf or he was in the White House watching TV. And y'all know he was watching like 6-7 hours of TV a day. You know this because he was live tweeting about the shows. He was live tweeting about the TV shows he was watching. So it's weird. He's just got this, literally this cult of personality. So it just goes to show you how messed up your culture is. I'm here with some good news. Okay, Doomsy is here with some good news. Okay, here's the good news. There's no fixing this. All right, and that's good news. It really is. There's no fixing it. So you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to become a political activist. You don't have to worry about this guy or his voters. Look at this. Or look at this. It's a podcast. Now listen to this. This is from USA Today. Trump says this is the headline. Trump says he's so great looking and smart, a true stable genius, in tweet bashing 2020 Dems. He said that in a tweet, but I think he's repeating that because I'm pretty sure I remember him saying it on microphone, that he was a stable genius. Now, this is where it's just hard for me to understand. I mean, I suppose I can understand nationalism. Maybe people want to belong. I guess. You know, I can understand cult of personality. I mean, I've known some really smart people. I've met really smart. I've even worked with smart people. And of course, I'm talking people way smarter than me. I mean, Doomsy's your average idiot for the most part. I mean, I can fix the ship sometimes. I can get the ship working, and I can jump to parallel universes and all that, but that's just technical knowledge. You know, engineering an FTL drive isn't all that great accomplishment. I mean, anyways, the point is, nobody that I've ever known that's a stable genius has ever claimed to be. You know? I think anyone who has even a modest amount of, even someone who's just a mediocre judge of character. And you hear someone claim that they're a stable genius, you gotta immediately suspect that the dude is the exact opposite, that he's an unstable moron. I mean, stable genius is an unhinged idiot. He's a stable genius. You know, I have family that's votes for Trump or would vote for Trump again. I mean, I could let someone off the hook, you know, the first time. But, I mean, take some responsibility. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Okay, Doomsy's here with the good news. It doesn't matter. Your governments are products of civilized culture. And civilized culture is coming to an end. One way or another. You either abandon ship or you go down with it. Maybe it's going to be Generation Beta, Generation Alpha makes that decision. But it's around the corner. Civilized culture, no one can save it. No one can fix it. And it can't fix itself. And none of these people are leaders. None of them. Not the popes, not the imams, not the bishops, not the pastors, not the senators, not the prime ministers, not the members of parliament, not the presidents, not the influencers, not the billionaires, the millionaires. None of them. None of them. It's not leadership being on top of a socioeconomic hierarchy. It doesn't lead anything. It has nothing to do with leadership. You aren't leading anything. You know what civilized culture is? I mean, I guess it's a lot of things. A lot of terrible things. Something based on a delusion of grandeur. But one analogy for civilized culture is the stampede. This stampede that went from, this growing stampede, it went from 2 billion to like 47 years later, went to 4 billion. And then 47 years after it was 4 billion, it was 8 billion. The stampede headed for this cliff of ecological catastrophe. Headed for extinction, basically. So the stampede of 8 billion. All 8 billion of you are caught in this stampede. That's how powerful mythology is. Mythology that's 10,000 years old got you caught up in this stampede. Now, these people that have wealth, power, I suppose, they're not leaders. Okay, in the analogy, they are on the shoulders of people running in the stampede. I guess in the stratification of the hierarchy of the economic classes, there's at least 3, right? You got at least 3, no matter if it's communism, socialism, capitalism, whatever kind of ism you use for your economy. You always get the peasants, and then the nobles, and then the royals at the top. Nobles in the middle class, and peasants and commoners at the bottom. Oh, yeah, Doomsy's often encountered someone, it's the no true Scotsman argument, right? Oh, some people think if communism was done right, no. I think it's had its chance. You've been doing, civilized culture has been doing what it's been doing for 10,000 years. It sucks for most everybody. You think the ancient Egyptians, do you think they like building pyramids? So they're not leaders. There's nothing they can do. So you got the stampede, all the peasants and commoners, you got the feet on the ground. And then I guess the nobles, the middle class, they're riding on your shoulders. And then on their shoulders is like some nice furniture. And you got the royals up there. They got the comfiest seat. So they got a view. They have a comfortable ride, I guess, in the stampede. But they're not leading anything. That's not leadership. So, proud boy sobbing. Not so proud. And then you got this Trump character, running again. I got to end. I've seen some other universes. He loses. The guy's a loser. His only hope. The only hope is the slavery scam vote, the electoral college thing. And most people in that party never win the popular vote, right? Typically, if a Republican's in the White House, it's because of the slavery states scam vote. That's what the electoral college is. So I wouldn't worry. I mean, you got bigger problems on your hands. I mean, I suppose in the box, that could be disastrous. Maybe that's what's happened in them. When I've been in universes, or maybe even in this universe, possibly, but at a future time period, when it looks really bad. I mean, I haven't seen the future. I haven't been to a future time in this particular universe. Otherwise, I'd know whether to stay or go. But sometimes I get flung into the future. The engine will jump me a few years or a few decades ahead, and I get a glimpse before I'm thrown back in time. And maybe that's what's happened when I jump into the future just a few years, and it's just like really bad. Maybe those are the ones that have been really bad. I haven't been there long enough to really tell what happened or who was the most recent president. Yeah, for sure, Trump's threat to national security. But national security, all your nations. What kind of nations? What kind of security you want for your nations? Security for nations that are built on genocide and slavery. Right? Stop working for such security, for such nations. This is why I wonder if I should stay in this universe. Because here's where I'm thinking I should stay. Okay, this article here is from about a week ago, August 22nd. Headline reads, NASA scientist issues grim warning 35 years after his original prediction. We knew it was coming. James Hansen, who was a NASA climate scientist when he first warned the world that the planet was heating in 1988, is back with another stark warning, this time hoping for different results. When Hansen appeared before the United States Senate in June of 1988, the world had just experienced the warmest first 5 months of any year in recorded history, the New York Times reported at the time. Up until that time, scientists had been cautious about blaming the warming of the planet on pollutants put into the air by human activity. But Hansen told the committee that NASA was 99% certain that the warming trend was caused by the buildup of carbon dioxide, other gases in the atmosphere. Sadly, the problem has continuously gotten worse worldwide in the decades since. And Hansen has continued his fight to bring attention to the issue. In 2011, he was one of 140 people to be arrested while protesting the construction of the controversial Keystone XL pipeline. In a recent statement released by Hansen alongside two other scientists, Hansen predicted the warming of the planet to accelerate in the coming years, musing about a new climate frontier. There's a lot, this is Hansen speaking or being quoted here, there's a lot more in the pipeline unless we reduce the greenhouse gas amounts, Hansen told The Guardian. These superstorms are a taste of the storms of my grandchildren. We are headed wittingly into the new reality. We knew it was coming. Okay, there's no reducing. I mean, there's no programs. You aren't going to fix it with laws or taxes or any kind of incentives or carbon trade-offs or caps or whatever. Abandon the culture. See, the good news here is the problem is not humans. It's not you humans, it's you civilized folks. 8 billion of you. That's a lot. But you don't have to be in that stampede. You got to start. I hope you're starting to talk about it. I mean, I know there's at least a million. I know at least a million in any universe where I can get Wi-Fi to Earth. But don't ask me to explain how I get Wi-Fi from Earth while super clusters of galaxies away from the Milky Way, because I still have trouble explaining that. But if I'm in a universe where the Wi-Fi from Earth has articles like this, I think it's possible. I think it's possible that humans could survive. That people can abandon this rotten culture of yours. Everything's a fight. You got to fight for your right to party, right? You got to fight for your right to party. You got to fight for your civil rights. We got to keep fighting for this, fighting for that. Maximum conflict, that's what your culture is. Here's another article. So this is kind of a good sign that you can find these articles. I found these on Yahoo News. I'm concerned that they're not there anymore, that it's not really that kind of, they weren't near the top. And they didn't stick around for very long. They're buried now. This is from a few days further back, August 20th, 2023. This headline reads, "Scientists sound alarm over unheard of ocean conditions." Quote, "We could see mass mortality." So I'll get into this article. I'll read some more of the text, but geez Louise. I mean, come on. There's every reason for Generation Beta, Generation Alpha, Generation Beta, Generation Beta's kids to abandon civilized culture. Oh, well, we could have staved off extinction, says one of the last few people on Earth, some decades from now. We could have staved off extinction, but it was just too expensive. Let me tell you something. The only reason... Actually, before I tell you this, let me tell you something else. Okay, the only way that you can get a tyrannical king, tyrannical neo-pharaoh, tyrannical president, what despot, or even just a jerk in charge of military. The only way that you can get a tyrannical king is to first have kings. That's the only way. That's the only way you can possibly find yourself suffering from this tyranny of this. You're only going to get tyrannical kings if you first have kings. Everybody's like, oh, duh, Doomsy, duh. But I got to say that. don't I? If you don't have kings, there's no way you're going to have tyrannical kings. But see, here's the thing. The only reason that you have millionaires amongst you, the only reason that millionaires exist, much less billionaires, let's just talk millionaires, which compared to billions upon billions of other people, the millionaires got it made, right? The only reason there's millionaires or billionaires, the only reason you have that in your society is because your culture makes you believe that neo-pharaohs define your species. Your culture compels all 8 billion of you to believe that humanity is all about building pyramids and elevating millionaires, elevating people to that status. Every society in civilized culture, you know what y'all do? You find the most greedy, the most ruthless, the most power-hungry people among you, and you elevate them. You systematically raise them up on your socioeconomic hierarchies. That's what your culture has been designed to do. That's what you do. And you continue to do that because you think it's just what you got to do as a human. That's your mythology. So, this episode of the Doomsy McDoomscroller Show is about to come to a close. I think we'll only do a half episode here. Because I got to get off this planet. I need to find my way back to Earth, but I got to get in the universe. Now, is this universe? I see articles like this, so there is an alarm happening. And I guess, fortunately for Generation Beta, is Generation Beta born yet? I think that's a couple years away. Still Generation Alpha. Fortunately for them, the Mitch McConnells, the Trumps, the Bidens, the McCaskills, are going to be dead soon. Right? They don't care about the future. They aren't going to do anything. They got theirs. Right? They're at the top of a pyramid. And they just continue to push the lunacy, the ignorance. Before I go, I got to talk about this tweet. This was like a month ago or something from the President of the United States of America, President Biden. Our colleges are stronger when they are racially diverse. And America is stronger because we are tapping into our full range of talent. That's the President of the United States. Our colleges are stronger when they are racially diverse. Racially diverse? There's no such thing as race. There's no such thing as race. So racial diversity is an impossibility. There's no subspecies in humanity. There's Homo sapiens, that's it. You got the human race. So, as long as you do anything to make people think that there's different races, you're adding fuel, or you're adding bricks to the foundation that bigots need to promote racism, to be bigoted with the justification of racism, or their bigotry to be based on racism. Yeah, they got to believe in different races. I mean, that's a requirement. You got to think that there's different races when there's not. But when you do something like, racially diverse. Racially diverse. No. You're not racially diverse. And you don't need to be in a spaceship galaxies away looking at Earth to know that there's no racial diversity on Earth with regards to you bipedal primates with the digital watches. It's all one race. And humans are not the problem on Earth. Your culture is the problem. It's your culture. It sucks. Not just for most people, but for every other living thing on the planet. Yeah. And it's incredible to me that a lot of you just can't even see what's coming down. You're not heeding the warnings. Your economies are going to collapse in a few decades due to deforestation. Yeah, just due to that. Take climate change out of the picture. Okay, just due to deforestation. All civilized economies, all of your economies collapse. Done. I mean, dead. Unrecoverable. Look what a little tiny virus recently did to your supply chains. What's going to happen when an entire industry, and you can find it, Doomsy's had it in an episode before. I'm not going to look it up now, but maybe next episode I'll Google it. That game over. It's already game over. You're still in the air, but it's free fall. The ground is rushing up. All right, you're not in this flying machine, this utopia in the heavens. You're just not. How do you all just enjoy, are entertained by so much fiction about dystopian futures, post-apocalyptic movies, and just sci-fi films, and just terrible outcomes? What's going on? And just leave the theater. Go about your business, right? Well, all right. Doomsy's getting out of here, like you said. Let me remind you about the good news. There's no fixing it. Because I know you look at, like, like with regard to what the USA, pretty big country there in civilized culture, wouldn't you say? How divided is it? It is. Oh, it's divided. Yeah, it's divided. You're never going to get the people from the other side to come around. They're just not going to come around. There's no fixing it. Well, the corruption, you're not ever going to get term limits. Changes move at a snail's pace. Legislation doesn't do squat, doesn't do jack squat. At the Clean Water Act 50 years ago. Clean Water Act. And what's the result? Most lakes and rivers are toxic. So unburden yourself of the worry. Political activism is not needed. You don't have to wait for leaders to do anything. Those people, they're not leaders. What you need to do is talk to younger generations. Talk to younger generations. If you have them in your family, talk to them. Confess. Tell them it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to have neo-pharaohs. Millionaires are not required in the 22nd century. They're just not required. You don't need them. You don't need to build pyramids. You don't have to give up anything to survive as a species other than a war. You got to give up a war versus Earth. The benefit of that is you'll stop warring against each other. All right. That's enough rambling and ranting. There's some other articles Doomsy wanted to get to. Pope had something to say that that has motivated Doomsy. Well, I say the Pope, I should say a Pope, right? There's never been more than there's never been just one Pope. Currently, there's several popes. So I'm talking, I guess, saying the Pope. We're talking about the most popular Pope of all the popes, the one with the most money and the most fame. And I'm not talking about the thing where he's trying to walk back. He criticized the United States Catholicism or the Catholic corporation in America, I guess. I forget. I saw some headline about that, but no, it's not that. Something else to say. It's fascinating. And really, Doomsy does not have time to unpack all that right now. I gotta go. There's this huge alien worm just smashing through the planet's surface. I gotta get off this planet.